नीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हरे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्द राधाकान्द नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, everybody. Subbalakshmi, beautiful prayer recitation. Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita study group. Thank you all for joining. We'll do a very, very short revision of last class because we discussed the most quoted verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Karmanyavadhikaraste. Would anyone like to recite it? Yes, please, Subbalakshmi. Sonal, have you learnt it?
I don't know whether I will be able to recite it well, but I'll try.
Yes. Okay, so we'll get 2 people to recite the shlok. Subbalakshmi, you start, say it once.
Ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbuh ma te sangostva karmani.
Excellent. Okay, the meaning. Okay, we'll quickly revise the meaning. Karmani eva adhikara aste. You have only one adhikar, and that is to do your karma. Right? Your only adhikar is to do your duty. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Never ever have your eyes on the karma phal, on the fruits of your karma. Ma karma phala heturbhur. Never, ma means don't, okay? Never let the fruits of action be your motive, okay? Ma te sangostva karmani. And don't ever think कि मुझे ना फल खाना है, ना फल के हेतु से काम करना है, so why don't I just not work? No, that is not an option. It is your duty and therefore you need to work. Okay? So that is the biggest takeaway, most quoted verse, always telling us because we are in karma yoni, we need to make sure that we do all our karma diligently. Okay? And today Krishna is going to continue talking about how important it is for us to do nishkama karma. Nishkama, without any kamana, it is very important for us to do our karma. Okay? So we're going to continue with the next verse. Verse number 51 of the second chapter. Can you all please open to it? Yeah, and please repeat the verse after me. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmukta padam gacchantyanāmayam. Very nice. Would somebody please read the translation? Sonal, do you have the English one?
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Please.
Thus, engaging in the devotional service of the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the result of the work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain state beyond all miseries.
Wonderful. So, Krishna is talking to us continuously about the importance of working without attachment to the fruits. Okay, he is saying that if you work without attachment, then what will happen? Right? You will not have any suffering. Interesting, because in life, we're always running behind happiness and we get a lot of misery. Right? We're always running behind trying to get love and we meet with disappointment. We're all trying to live a long life, and yet we all know that every single day, every single moment, we're moving towards death. Correct? So the Bhagavatam also tells us that every human being is constantly engaged in trying to find happiness. But unfortunately, he finds no satisfaction. Instead, all he ever gets is misery. And how do we get these misery? Adhyatmik, Adhibhautik and Adhidaivik. Right? There are three kleshas. Either because of our own karma, because of the people around us, or because of the devatas. Right? Some of the other klesh, some of the other misery is constantly troubling us. So what do the wise people do? This is what the verse tells us. The wise people, they engage in devotional service. And they say, Baki sab chodo, we will take shelter of God. And once you take shelter of God, then you become free from the cycle of birth and death. And how do they do that? Simple solution. They do all their karma, but they give up the attachment to the fruits of their karma. Okay? So look at the verse carefully. Karmajam, wo karma kar raha hai. But how? Buddhi yukta hi. He is attaching his buddhi to God. Yukta karna, attach karna. You do your karma, always keep your intelligence attached to God. Okay? Phalam tyaktva manishinaha. Manishinaha is a wise man. What does he do? Attaches his buddhi to God and gives up phalam tyaktva. Gives up the desire for phal, for karma phal, for the fruit of his action. Just by doing that, just by giving up attachment to karma phal, what does he get? Janma bandha vinirmuktaha. He is free from ye janma marna ki bandhan se. He becomes free from the cycle of birth and death. And the other thing is padam gacchantinamayam. Where does he go? He goes to a place where there are God's feet. Padam. He goes to God's feet, and that place is anamayam. Anamayam means a place completely free of miseries. Absolutely no misery can touch you there. Right? So essentially what this simple verse is telling us is that when we perform karma, we have to do two things. We have to use our intelligence. Okay? We have to discriminate. We have to differentiate between right and wrong. So our discrimination is very important. We have to think in this particular situation, what would God want me to do? And two, we need to introspect. Why am I doing? What am I doing? Right? We need to introspect and make sure that our intention is pure. So our intentions need to be pure, right? So that we're not attached to the fruits, and we need to use our intelligence. When we do these two things, we will be free from the cycle of birth and death, and padam gacchantinamayam. We will go to those beautiful padam, the beautiful lotus feet of Lord, where that place is anamayam, completely free from miseries. Okay? Next verse, please. We'll go to verse 52. These are all very simple verses, so don't worry too much about them. The main verses you should learn by heart. Okay? They become guiding lights in life. The next verse, 52. Yada te moha kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha.
When your intelligence has passed out the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard, all that is to be heard.
Okay, so remember previously Krishna had said that those who get attached to worldly enjoyment, right? They get attracted to all the different puja parts that the Vedas recommend, and they become completely confused, right? So Krishna is essentially telling us, instead of going down that path, I myself have pulled out all the essence of all the scriptures, and I have compiled this Bhagavad Gita, right? I'm explaining the important stuff from all the scriptures, and I'm giving you the simple Bhagavad Gita. So please use your intelligence and apply these simple teachings of the Bhagavad Gita in your life. Use this as your manual, right? So Krishna is clearly telling us, don't get carried away by the hajar puja part that people are going to tell you about, right? Don't start thinking, if I do this, I will get this. ये व्रत करूंगी, I will get this. यहाँ जाऊंगी, I will get this. Give up all of that. Just stay on the path of doing everything that is your duty. Do your duty without attachment. Do it without expecting anything in return. So please remember, especially for all the women, right? Don't ever think कि कहीं पे सत्संग चल रहा है और मेरा बच्चा भूखा बैठा हुआ है. My satsang is more important. No, it is not. Your duty is to ensure that your child is well fed. Make necessary arrangements and then go to your satsang. Right? Don't undermine the importance of satsang. It is very, very important. But please remember, you do it only after you've ensured that your duty has been done to the best of your ability. Right? So please keep that in mind. Next verse, 53. Shruti vipratipanna te yada sthasyati nischala samadhav achala buddhis tada yogam avapsyasi.
When the mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained divine consciousness.
Thank you. So Krishna is essentially concluding, right? He's saying, ki become a devotee of the Lord. Don't get disturbed by all the flowery language of the Shruti, of the Vedas, right? Don't get engaged in fruitive activities. Don't try to get Svargalok. Don't try to promote yourself idhar udhar. Just be fixed in God consciousness. Right? Remember in the beginning, Arjun had said, I don't want to kill my cousins. I don't want to kill my teachers, my uncles, because I don't want papa. Right? I don't want sin. So Krishna is telling Arjun, you do your duty. And when you do your duty with no attachment to the phal, right? Then you will not incur pap or punya. According to God's law, if you just give up selfish motive, if you do your duty because it is your duty, right, with no other intention, then that work does not create karmic reactions, right? Such work will never bind you. There will be no karma bandhan. So Krishna is advising Arjun, just become detached from the outcomes, focus on your duty. And your duty is to work, to act, not to worry, not to become anxious about what are the possible results, right? Don't work with a motive to gain something. And at the same time, remember, don't turn away from your duty and remain idle, right? With single-minded determination, do your duty. Don't worry about success and failure. One who does his duty with no expectation is the happiest person. Okay? Why? Because he incurs no sin. He becomes free from the cycle of birth and death. Janma bandha vinirmuktaha. He goes to a place which is beyond all miseries. Padam gacchantya namayam. Okay? And when the mind is not disturbed by everything that the Vedas are telling you, then your intelligence becomes very, very fixed. Right? But yes, when Subbalakshmi auntie last time asked, ki what about children, when you tell them to study to do well on an exam, please remember, lot of us, like children, are at very, very immature stages in our life. Right? So thoda carrot de ke, we have to get them to grow in their pursuit. Right? A child or a very neophyte in scriptural study is too young to understand ki just pray to God. Don't ask for anything in return. Right? It is hard. So at that point, ask. Just ask for something that is right. Right? Just ask for something that doesn't hurt anybody else. So that is just dragging them one stage up at a time. Okay? And you finally reach to that point where you just focus on your duty. You focus on the higher purpose of your work and not about the selfish results. And finally, those people who can do this, they are called Sthita Pradnya. Pradnya is the highest form of intelligence. So a person who has this kind of high intelligence is called Sthita Prajna. He is sitting in the best form of wisdom. Right? So from everything that Krishna has said so far, it appears like these people are not only the wisest, but these are also the guys who are going to get Bhagwan Ji ke lotus feet. Right? So now Arjun is very excited. He's very intrigued. He is thinking, ki yaar, these guys, hai na, they're very wise and they're happy always. So maybe I should try and become like them. Right? We also feel, right, when we see somebody who looks very, very happy, who has everything in life, who's not hankering after anything, then we want to become like them. Right? So with this thought, Arjun looks at Krishna and he says, ki bhai, now will you please tell me what are the qualities of this Sthita Prajna? Okay? So now the rest of the chapter, Krishna is going to tell us all the qualities of a person who has the highest wisdom. Please remember, we're all at the start of the ladder. We're talking about the person who's right on top over there. And we're talking about him is because agar bachche ko cricketer banna hai, you'll keep showing him videos of Virat Kohli, right? So we know what we want to become. So now till the end of this chapter, Bhagwan is going to show us those videos of Virat Kohli. Right? He's going to tell us how that person is. Because Arjun is going to ask him this question. Okay? So please repeat Arjun's question after me. Verse number 54.
I have a question. That's it.
Yeah, Sunal?
Yeah. How do you, so doing duties without being attached to groups is okay, but how do you decide what should be your duties? For example, some duties come without you choosing them. That is okay. For example, duties towards your body, towards your family, that is taken care of. But there are some things you choose by yourself. Now, how do you decide that these are going to be your duties?
We will address that in the future chapters. But for now, you should realize anything which is approved by Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, that should be your fundamental. Is this something that if you don't have a Guru, is this something that my elders would approve of? Is this something that Shastra approves of? Is this something that a holy person with no judgment is going to approve of? Right? Then please accept that duty. Always base your decision on Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. And if Shastra is saying do not do it, then whatever your intelligence is telling you, please remember your intelligence is just making an ass out of you. Right? Therefore, always refer to Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Okay? So, seek advice.
Is there like a more detailed explanation as we go along?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right? Yeah. By the time you reach your 18th chapter, you will know what to refer back to and know कि यार मैं ये सही कर रही हूँ कि गलत, मैं ये करूँ कि ना करूँ. In fact, they will talk about, they'll help you identify कि am I a Brahman, am I a Kshatriya, am I a Vaishya, am I a Shudra, based on where I am and which ashram I belong to, right? What are my duties? What are my qualities? So remember, duty for a Brahman is not necessarily duty for a Kshatriya, right? So it will even clarify all of that as you go ahead. It will help you understand your own guna, right? And then will tell you what your karma should be. So your karma will be based on your guna.
Right.
Okay? So Bhagavad Gita will give you very good clarity. For now, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Okay? And that's why I say association. Right? Always have a few phone numbers that you can call. And be very humble when you seek advice. Because I'm like that. I'm very deep, right? Sometimes I've already made up my mind कि मुझे कुछ करना है. Then when I'm asking people, it's more for formality. And if they say no, then I'm already giving a counter argument कि यार वो कितना stupid है, उसको नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. Right? So let's not fall in that trap also. Right? So when we ask, let's be willing to listen. Okay?
And I've read like some of the explanation about Nishkam Karma, but it's like there are detailed document to understand it in more depth.
You know what? Nishkama Karma, when I was trying to study it also, I think the simplest, instead of trying to understand it in depth, try and understand the word meaning. Nishkamana, without any personal motive. Okay? From then on, whatever you do, right? You see how selfish your intention is, and you see how pure your intention is. Try and put that on a spectrum, right? If the intention is selfish, what you're doing is sakama karma. If it is pure, then it is nishkama karma. Okay? The same action, giving food to somebody who is in need, can be both spectrums. You're giving it because you want punya. You're giving it because you want elevation. Right? Or you're giving it because it's your duty. You're in a place where God has given you umpteen. You have enough, you want to share. Vasudhaiva kutumbakam. You're giving because that person needs. And you will never expect. Normally you will see, if you even look after your staff at home very well, your expectation is कि फिर वो मर के मेरे लिए काम करे. मैं तो उसको इतना देती हूँ, फिर वो मेरे लिए क्यों नहीं झटती है? That is wrong again. You're going to sakam karma. Right? So analyze every action that you do. Sometimes I truly feel, Sonal, that we have to start creating our own documents. It'll help if we, for 1 week, sit down and maintain a diary of everything that I did and what was my intention behind doing it. Right? Very honest, because we can only be honest to ourselves. Right? So that will give you a better document instead of reading somebody else's. Right? But of course, I'm sure there are so many books. I mean, when you read autobiographies of great people, right, you understand their perspective like you could never even think of it. So I think autobiographies play a huge role. If you have the patience to read an amazing book, then you must read Prabhupada Līlāmrit. Prabhupada ka jo biography hai, I think it is the most motivating and the most clarifying book that is there in the whole range of books available. Right? Prabhupada Līlāmrit, there are shorter versions, but if you're a good reader, I'm telling you, when Sheetal had given me that book, I did not sleep. I think I went 4 days without sleeping. I waited till all day was done, everyone settled into bed. All night I would sit up and read it. It is so amazing. Right? So if you can get a hold of that, you would probably understand the concept of Nishkama Karma Yogi. How a person at the age of 69 cannot care about his body or any other thing and just go behind one word that his guru told him. Right? So try and read these books. They're very, very inspiring. Everybody, I would definitely recommend, based on your reading interest, you can pick up the smallest versions. But if you like to read, then definitely the detailed Līlāmrit, not the 7 sections wala. Ek mota wala. I think Sheetal can share the picture of that, and all of you must try and read that. Okay?
Is it like a normal language or Sanskrit?
नहीं, normal English में लिखा हुआ है, and very simple to read English.
Oh.
Yeah, very good book. Well documented. Okay? All right. We'll go with verse 54, please. Everyone repeat. Arjuna uvacha sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava sthita dhi kim prabhasheta kim asita vrajeta kim.
Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of those whose consciousness is thus merged with transcendence? How does he speak? What is his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk?
All of us, first let's understand the question. Arjuna is saying, how do I identify कि a person is sthita prajna? Ka bhasha? What language? Right? Which means what are his general characteristics? Kim prabhasheta? How does he talk? Talk is essentially a reaction. Right? So Arjuna is saying कि सबके life में provocating situations आते हैं. How does this guy respond in a provocating situation? So when you say how does he talk, how does he react to provocations in life? Okay? Kim asita? How does he sit? How does he sit means how does he restrain all his senses from running idhar udhar. Right? That is sit. Ekdam calmly, how does one sit? You can do that only when your senses are withdrawn. So how does he do that? And vrajeta kim. How does he walk? How does he walk means he's engaging his senses. So when he engages his senses, how does he interact with the world? तो वो काम कैसे करता है, वो आराम से कैसे बैठता है, वो situations को कैसे react करता है, right? So Arjun is trying to understand a sthita prajna. And right till the end now, Krishna gets very excited because Krishna thinks कि perfect. ये अगर अर्जुन को समझ में आ जाएगा तो अर्जुन will be a better version of himself, right? So Krishna is going to start giving us a detailed explanation of sthita prajna. Okay, verse number 2.55 please. Shri Bhagavan uvacha prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyevatmana tushtam.
Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a man gives up all the varieties of desires for sense gratification, which arise from mental concussion, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in self alone, then he is said to be pure transcendental consciousness.
Okay, so we all need to listen to these qualities very, very carefully. Okay, so the first characteristic of a sthita prajna. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. He has given up all desires of the mind. First characteristic of a sthita prajna is that he has become desireless. Okay? All his desires he has given up. But just giving up desires is not enough. Right? Immediately Krishna adds the second characteristics. Atman yevatmana tushtaha. He is completely satisfied in himself. You cannot become desireless and then start thinking, oh my God, I'm feeling a void inside. I'm feeling empty. Because that feeling of emptiness is again going to drive you to get more desires. Right? When this guy becomes desireless, he's actually happy inside. It is when you reach a point where you say, I have too many clothes. I don't need any more clothes. Right? I definitely don't need any more clothes. Your desire to buy clothes is gone because you're very, very happy with the collection that you already have. You can't one day wake up and say, अच्छा आज से ना मैं बिल्कुल shopping नहीं करूँगी. And every time you open your cupboard, you're going to think, oh my God, कुछ है ही नहीं मेरे पास पहनने के लिए. Right? Because then you're not satisfied. So this person has fulfilled everything. He knows within कि what I have is very, very enough and satisfying. And therefore, he does not have any more desires. He realizes that I'm looking for something within me. Happiness is inside of me. I don't need to go seek it outside. Okay? There's this very, very interesting analogy. This world is called Mriga Trishna. In the scriptures, this material world is referred to as Mriga Trishna. Mriga is a deer. Trishna is thirst. Right? So, this material world is like a mirage which is seen by a mriga, a deer. Okay, in a hot desert, what is happening? The sun's rays are reflecting on the sand and there is an illusion of water. तो deer को लगता है कि वहां पे पानी है. Right? So the deer is thinking, if I run a little bit, there is water over there and my thirst is going to get quenched. But the more the deer runs towards the water, the more that mirage is fading away. Right? But that deer ka buddhi is so dull, he does not understand he is running after an illusion. He is running after something which is not real. So he keeps running. Right? That poor unfortunate deer, he keeps chasing that mirage. Right? That illusory water. And finally, he dies of exhaustion on that desert sand. Right? Similarly, in this material world, Maya, Bhagwan ki ye shakti hai, right? But this Maya creates this illusion of happiness. And we keep running after that illusory happiness. We keep hoping to quench our thirst, right? But no matter how much we try, happiness keeps going one step further away from us. Right? The Garud Puran says this very nicely. Right? Garud Puran, when somebody passes away, there is Garud Puran which is read. Garud Puran actually tells you कि just think of a Raja. है ना, तुमको लगता है कि Raja has everything, है ना, according to you and me, a king has everything. But guess what? The king is still unhappy. Because he is thinking, यार मैं तो ना इस छोटे से राज्य का राजा हूँ. It would be so nice if I was the emperor. है ना, emperor of the whole world. So even that Raja is unhappy because he is aspiring to be emperor of the world. Think of the emperor of the world. वो सोच रहा है कि ओके, मैं तो पूरी दुनिया का राजा बन गया. Am I happy? No, because मैं तो इस दुनिया में राजा बना ना. मैं अगर इंद्र होता तो क्या मस्त होता. I would have been the king of gods. है ना, मैं तो देवताओं का राजा बनता. Right? Now, is Indra satisfied? No. Indra is thinking, यार मैं तो देवताओं का राजा बन गया, लेकिन अगर मैं ब्रह्मा होता तो. Right? So essentially, the verse is tathapi na nivartate trishna. Right? Your trishna, your thirst can never be satisfied. The only way it can be satisfied is if you take shelter of the Lord. You give up desires knowing that your connect with God is the only thing that can ultimately give you satisfaction. It can free you from selfish desires. It can free you from all your cravings. Right? Because it will finally tell you that happiness lies within me, and you will learn to look inward. See, even when you do yoga, right, simple physical yoga, right, the first thing they'll do is they'll tell you to say your prayer, right, and before you start your exercises, they'll tell you, close your eyes, look within, right, look within, because the whole source of all happiness is within, right. So, Sthita Prajna is a person who is desireless and is happy in himself. Okay? Like I said, Krishna is very excited. He thinks fantastic topic to talk about, and so he's continuing. He realizes that this topic is applicable to each and every one of us. Okay? So please pay attention to all the qualities, and every single day in all your actions, try and make one chotu sa difference. In the entire day, if you're able to reflect on this for even a few minutes, your actions will have definitely a huge change. Okay? Next verse, please. Verse number 56. Dukkheshvanudvignamana Sukheshu vigataspruha Vitaraga bhayakrodha Sthita dhir munirujjate.
One who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, and one who is free from attachment, fear, and anger is called the sage of a steady mind.
Wonderful, right? In all situations, this guy is stable. This Sthita Prajna, Dukkheshvanut Vignamana, in deep, severe misery, his mana does not go through udveg. He doesn't suffer misery. He is not disturbed in misery. Sukheshu vigataspruha, and in sukh, he is not ecstatic. He doesn't go, overexcited or overjoyed. No, he's equipoised. Right? He is stoic. Dukh आया, okay, मेरे हिस्से का दुख है, मुझे इसको सहन करना है. Sukh आया, thank you God for what you've given me, but not getting overexcited. Vita, raga, bhaya, krodha. Please underline that line. He's given up three important things. Vita raga, Vita bhaya, Vita krodha. Vita means giving up. Okay? He's given up raga. Rag means attachment to something. Okay? Bhaya means fear. He's given up fear. And krodha, he's given up anger. Okay? So he's become free from blind attachment. He's given up attachment because he knows कि इससे ना मुझे कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला है. My खुशी lies inside of me. He's given up fear because he knows राखे कृष्णा मारे कृष्णा राखे के. Right? He knows अवश्य रक्षी पे कृष्णा. And he's given up Vita raga bhaya krodha. He's given up anger. Okay, and of course, a lot of Bhagavad Gita is going to tell us on how to control our anger. Okay, how we should not be reacting badly in situations. Why does anger arise? Okay, we're going to address all these questions. So this Sthita Prajna, he's given up attachments, he's given up fear, he's given up anger. He does not let his mind get shaken by adversity or get too happy when there is happiness in his life. Right? So he's a transcendently situated person because he's not disturbed by all kinds of things that happen in his life. Okay? He accepts that all miseries that come in my life are because of my doing. In fact, you will start seeing older people will say, actually, given how I am, I deserve far more misery. But by the grace of the Lord, my miseries have been minimized. Similarly, जब खुशी आती है, he gives credit to God कि ये जो भी आया, उनकी वजह से आया. Because मेरी औकात तो है ही नहीं. I don't deserve this. I am unworthy of this happiness. So he realizes कि only and only because of God's mercy am I in such a comfortable situation. Right? In fact, I heard something very interesting. A very important realization in our life. That we think that this person brings me misery or this person brought me happiness. But the day we realize that all these people, whether they're bringing us misery or they're bringing us happiness, they are actually like postmen. A postman will bring you a bill or he will get you some good news, some money order. But is he actually giving you that money order? Or is he actually giving you your electricity bill? No, right? He is simply a delivery agent. You are eating your own doing. तुम अपना खुद का कर्म खा रहे हो. Right? You have done and it's coming back. Everybody who comes your way, like Sheetal at the beginning of the class said, nimitta matra. Everybody is just an instrument in delivering to you your own past karma or the Lord's anukampa. Right? So if we start realizing that, then we will not get angry with people. We will not hold people or situations responsible for our udvek. Make sense? Okay, next verse please, 27. Yaha sarvatra nabhisnehas tattat prapya shubha shubham nabhinandati nadveshti tasya prajna pratishthitam.
In this material world, whoever one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil intake of the day, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge.
Okay, so one who is ever unattached. He has no attachment to anything, anywhere. He is not pleased when he gets good. He is not angry when something bad happens. He does not love, he does not hate. That person is Sthita Prajna. As long as we are in this material world, there will always be good and evil that attacks us. Because the material world is full of dualities. But a person who is Sthita Prajna, he does not get affected by those dualities. It's not कि good and bad is going to stop happening. They will continue to happen. But he is able to see the hand of God in everything, and therefore he is not agitated by these material upheavals. Right? So Sthita Prajna is free from Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. He is undisturbed in happiness and in sorrow, in Sukha and Dukkha. Right? This Sthita Prajna is not reacting. But does that mean that he does not actually experience happiness and distress? Does that mean that he does not have any senses? Does it mean that his senses are not working anymore? Does it mean that if I give him sukha roti or a rasgulla, he doesn't know the difference in taste between the two? No. He knows the difference, right? He has the 5 senses. But the way he uses these senses, right, is what is different. What Krishna is going to try and tell us further is that it is not that these things have stopped happening in your external environment. The change has to be in you. Your external environment cannot be responsible for the way you behave. Okay? So you will still know the difference between your gulab jamun and something that is sada hua. Right? But how will you now behave? So verse 28, please. Yada संहरते चायम कूर्मोऽङ्गानीव सर्वशः इन्द्रियान् इन्द्रियार्थेभ्यस् tasya prajna pratishthitam.
Yeah, one who is able to withdraw his senses from all sense objects, as the tortoise withdraws his limbs within the shell, is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness.
Very, very important shlok. Okay, you don't need to learn the shlok if you think it's different, if it's difficult. But remember the word kurma. Kurma is a tortoise. Okay, whenever we enter a temple, we all see a tortoise at the entrance. Right? This verse will help us understand that. The Sthita Prajna person, one who is situated in wisdom, this person is like a tortoise. Okay? Remember Arjuna had asked, Kim Asita? How does he sit? So Krishna is answering that. Right? He's saying, Arjuna ne pucha tha, how does this person restrain his senses? How does this person not react to the world? How does he withdraw himself from the worldliness? Right? Every animal has a defense system. Correct? Humans have a defense system and intelligence. When a tortoise goes into a dangerous situation, how does a tortoise protect himself? He withdraws his limbs. He withdraws his head, he withdraws his tail. Correct? Aage ka, piche ka, charo pav, he pulls them into his shell. Correct? And he just stays, just a nice solid shell on top. And after the danger has passed, he again pulls out his limbs, he pulls out his head, he pulls out his tail, and he continues on his way. Correct? Similarly, this Sthita Prajna, this God-realized person, all his senses are intact. Right? He knows the difference between your rasgulla and your sukha roti. Right? All his 5 senses are very, very active. But he's careful not to unnecessarily involve his senses. So when necessary, he pulls out his senses, he interacts with the world. And when unnecessary, he withdraws his senses. So he has complete control over his senses. Right? He can pull them out as per his will. He can withdraw them back as per his will. Right? Tortoise ne kya kiya? Dangerous situation tha, pulled back everything into the shell. So when we are in this material world and we come across a lot of distractions, a lot of perversions, what do we need to do? We need to quickly withdraw our eyes, our ears, our nose, our skin and our tongue. Right? We need to know कि नहीं यार ये जो दिख रहा है ना ये गंदा है, ये मुझे नहीं देखना है. We need to turn away. ये जो बात कर रहे हैं ये फालतू का gossip है. I don't want to be part of this. Right? So we need to become conscious of where we are letting our senses go, and we need to make sure that we consciously prevent our senses from getting negative inputs, right? And then we see a tortoise in the temple. In a temple, a tortoise is fully out. Head is out, tail is out, limbs are out. Why? Because the temple is a very safe, a very conducive situation. Right? Temple mein, the tortoise is engaging all his limbs, all his buddhi in service of the Lord. And that is what it is teaching us. Ki when you're in a safe environment, right, don't stop doing your work. Engage all your senses. You've been given these abilities, you've been given these talents. Please utilize them in service, right? In a safe environment. Okay? So it is very important to always keep this tortoise in our mind. Ki when the situation is not conducive, move away. Don't wait for the situation to change. You withdraw. Right? And when the situation is conducive, please do your seva, do your duty. Okay? It's very important to note that Sthita Prajna does not mean that he does not want happiness. Of course, he wants happiness. Right? All of us want happiness. Even that Sthita Prajna, he has this understanding of wanting to be happy. But what he realizes is happiness is intrinsic to the soul. So I don't have to desire, I don't have to desire this happiness from the outside world. Right? The spiritual world is an ocean of happiness. Because I'm a tiny part of God, I am already a tiny part of this ocean of happiness. Right? So I will be happy the minute I connect myself with God. Make sense? And that is why the next verse, okay, it will tell us how we start enjoying the happiness within. Krishna says, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaham rasavarjam rasopyasyam param drishtva nivartate. This is something that I want all of you to highlight. Param drishtva nivartate. Okay? Make an effort, entire week practice saying these words. Param drishtva nivartate. Okay, I'll come to the meaning in a bit. Param drishtva nivartate. Sunal, please read the translation.
Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the thirst for sense object remains. But ceasing such engagement by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness.
So, experiencing a higher taste. When I said a Sthita Prajna, does he not want happiness? Of course he wants happiness. But he is able to find his happiness in something which is far superior. Okay? So, the sadhakas, the spiritual aspirants, okay? With our willpower, we sometimes restrain our senses. Okay? But the desire to enjoy still remains. Internally, those desires exist. Correct? So, our willpower is sometimes going to fail us. So, Krishna is giving us an easy solution. He says, Arjun, these senses, right, they will keep on hankering. Then how is it that the Sthita Prajna has defeated the senses? By doing one simple thing. He's found a higher taste. Param drishtva nivartate. You've been driving an Alto, you've been driving a Santro, you've been driving a Wagoner, right? And somebody gives you a beautiful Merc. Once you've enjoyed the driving pleasure of a Merc, would you want to go back to your Alto or your Santro? No. Right? You found superior happiness and automatically you're detached from the lower taste. जब तक वो Mercedes नहीं आई थी, तब तक your Santro was driving like makhan. Right? You were having a lot of fun. You didn't complain about it. But once you experience the driving pleasure of the Merc, automatically santro chhoot gaya. Right? So automatically you get detached from the lower taste. So give your senses, give your man, give your buddhi the higher taste, the taste of God. Let your man, buddhi, ahankar, let your senses experience the bliss of devotion. Once you experience this bliss, then this struggle of the world will be easy to detach from. It will not go away totally and it will not go away overnight. तुम एक बार अगर मंदिर की खिचड़ी खाओगे, तुम बोलोगी this is fantastic, and yet again you will want to go out and eat something. Right? I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. One meal may get replaced. But over a period of time, when we slowly and steadily, once a week, twice a week, thrice a week, when we start replacing our tamoguni stuff with something that is in Shuddha Sattva, automatically, dheere dheere, right? We've experienced Rasagulla, we will want Rasagulla. We will not want kachra. And it's like you've been eating dog biscuits with no idea here what I've been eating is dog biscuits. And then you eat a beautiful Oreo. Right? Then you don't want to go back and eat your dog biscuits. Right? So once you experience the bliss of God, dheere dheere, your attachment to this material world will chuto. The transition will take time and the transition requires genuine self-effort. Okay? But what Krishna is telling us is that it does not mean you have to give up. It is not self-deprivation. Right? Self-deprivation is always very limited. It's only a matter of time when you're able to, bhai jaane do yaar bhaad mein. Right? I cannot do this any longer. The way to do it is, detachment is not the solution. You detach but you get superior attachment. That is the solution. Okay? Love for the highest is important, and then love for the lowly will be gone. So attach your mind to God, experience the higher taste, then detachment from lower taste will be automatic. So please remember, Bhagavad Gita is not teaching us dry suppression of desires. It is teaching us a very joyful path. It is saying redirect your desires. Desire hai, tum usko redirect karo. Right? That is what is going to help us realize our Satchitananda Swabhav. Okay, we're running out of time. So I hope this week we're going to start contemplating on Param Drishtva Nivartate. Okay? Rathraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jaya. Thank you all for joining.